Okay, here we go. Wasn't going to be live until Juror 11 started attacking me. Something, as I've told you, there's something going on with this juror. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Admittedly, I don't. But we're going to review everything. I understand that we have some people would love me to be out on road patrol tonight. And I was almost going to do that, other than it's very warm out. But we can't ignore, and I'm going to let everybody file in a little bit. We can't ignore, and I would imagine we're going to have some trolls out tonight. We can't ignore. Hi there, Lisa. More and more. There's Cheryl. Listen, there's something, and this juror was just going off on me. Absolutely just going off on me. And no. Let me give it 1 minute as everybody is filing in a little bit. Now, again, don't forget, tomorrow afternoon. Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you, Brenda. There's Brenda. People are supporting the program through Venmo or Cash App or on YouTube. There's Pamela. Now, listen, I'm into this content right now. You know what one of the number one rules of content is? You got to do content that you're into. And I'm under attack, and I'm going to talk about it. Obviously. You know what is interesting to me is I mentioned the thought that some people that perhaps there's Lynn Miller, that there's Brenda, there's Tammy. Listen, I know Road Patrol family. I know everyone wants me out, but we're going to get there. But we can't ignore with what we're seeing right now with this juror. She gave an interview to someone who was always complaining that they were never in the courtroom and always complaining about me. And there's one problem with this juror, Paula 11, that at the big coming out party on Friday and cheered by the media and she's loved, is when she was asked who was one of the best witnesses, she mentioned, thank you, Soma. That's right. She mentioned someone. What was I saying last night? It's the difference of Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. She mentioned someone that testified in the first trial. How do you do that? She did that interview on Thursday night. It's all fresh. She mentioned someone that was not in the retrial. How do you make a mistake like that? Oh, I didn't know it's Robin's birthday. I apologize. See him all thrown. She was not in the accident reconstruction. She has taken to Twitter and now really going after me. How dare you? I'm not threatening. I posted earlier. And I want to play. Thank you, Olivia. I want to play that. I didn't realize it's Robin's birthday. Tonight would have been a nice out. I know, Craig. We're going to be out soon enough. We are. It's going to be hot all week. Yeah, her name's out there, Karen. It's Paula Prada. So, and she was just attacking me on another platform. So I don't know the answer to that. But what I was trying to say to her, and I have some people, like, use your head. I didn't threaten her. I was saying to her, listen, if something happened and you somehow got involved in something, maybe someone approached her. I don't know. Promise. See, once you do something, then they start blackmailing. Like, now we got you. Right? Now we own you. What I was trying to say was, if something happened and somehow you agreed or got involved with something, what I was trying to say was, think of yourself. Think of what my message was. If that happened, cooperate with police. She's the one that mentioned she had 4 children. It's very obvious. I was trying to say, listen, those 4 children can't do anything if you somehow possible. Her answers make no sense. I'm going to play for you. If I had more time, I'd show you the video. Her interview on Court TV with Vinny Friday night. By the way, I'll be on Court TV tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. They're all trying to get me knocked off there. Too late. Thank you, Selma. Thank you. Yeah, after what they've done to the witnesses. So just hear me out. You guys are reasonable. If you're not reasonable, you wouldn't be here. All right, I know how to do that. Now I know how to get rid of these people. There we go. And yes, mute. Okay. We're getting better at this. So I'll play you the interview with Court TV, but her interview. But they don't want me speaking out. They're doing everything in their power to try to discredit me. Everything. But let me just be very clear. What I was saying, let's just go to the side. And you guys are reasonable. I can't moderate right now. I'm so sorry. All right. Well, I need to find another person. I need to find someone else because we need more moderators, voice for reason. So we do have some other people that I need to get some more people because we are getting I wish I'd known that. So we're going to add more. We do have a number of moderators, and we have Debbie there. But let me just say, before I get distracted, folks, my message was, I'm not threatening her or threatening her children. That's what they do. What I was trying to say was, and it was clear, someone said, someone could misconstrue what? I was saying, whatever may have happened. I don't know if something happened, but her answers don't make sense. Thank you, JVA. Her answers don't, that's right. Her answers don't make sense. She sounds, and I'll play it for you guys. You can decide. Her interview with Vinny on Court TV, it needs to be highlighted more. How is she mentioning someone who was a great witness? And she mentioned someone from the first trial that didn't even testify. How do you make that mistake? It wasn't like a year ago or 2 years ago. False memory. Happened right now. But just hear me out. What I was trying to say was, listen, I was like reaching out, pleading, suggesting if somehow you got involved with some people, they approached you. Again, hypothetical. Forget about them. If you think of protect yourself, protect, apparently claims she has 4 children, that's what you think of. And cooperate with the police. Forget about those individuals. Again, I don't know what happened. Her behavior, her answers don't match up. Did she misrepresent herself? The whole thing. Did they use Signal? Was their money paid? Don't tell me this type of thing doesn't go on. Look at the reaction. I am under attack on this Sunday night. I was going to actually just take it easy because it's hot out. And suddenly, the moment I mention, to me, police need to investigate. This is insanity. She's mentioning witnesses that didn't testify. On top of that, is she really an attorney? What if she's in the deliberating? She's in the room deliberating. And hey, listen, I'm an attorney. Thank you, Melissa. I'm an attorney here. That goes some way. Now, let me also be very clear. Some people are saying, you mean to tell me she swayed 11 people? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's probably, let's just say you had 2 or 3 that were holdouts. See, she's innocent. Drop it. What? Why? Why can't we talk about it? Why is she mentioning? See, now look how quick I am with the trolls. Look why did the other jurors listen to her? Someone's an attorney. Someone claims to be an attorney. Maybe it's 9 weeks. This is someone that knows what they're talking about. Again, as I have said, not everybody is of the mindset to stand up to someone. I have no idea. I heard that a couple of people were bullying the others. I do have an interview with a real juror. I don't know. After everything that's going on, this person may not want to be part of it. But I am telling you, and I'm going to play for you right now. Number one, what are we talking about? Apparently she works at Target in Westwood. It's right on the border of Walpole, Westwood. And she's so out there. And who she started to follow. And it's just, but her answers the interview on court TV, that just like, this is insanity. She it's the equivalent of having the a member of the defense on the jury and everything she says, and she's knocking people. There's definitely something there about the police. Maybe it's international bias. I don't know. But the way she started attacking me, and you're threatening me, or don't you threaten me? She said, I was raised by strong women. Well, you know who's being raised by their grandparents right now? The niece and nephew of John O'Keefe. She doesn't mention them. She shows up on court TV wearing pink. She knows what pink means. Don't give me this bullshit. She's like, oh, I just like the color. Total bullshit. You're not fooling us, Paula. No, there's something odd here from how she landed the first interview to the things she's saying. You know, again, I apologize not having the video. I will post clips of this. I'm not even sure. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Suddenly attacking me. Why is she? She's not an attorney. The interview with Vinny on Friday night, even he was surprised. Now, again, I can't speak for him, but even he's surprised at he seemed surprised at some of her answers. He seemed surprised that she was mocking the prosecution. And by the way, if you go into the jury deliberating room, you have an attorney, and she starts mocking some of this, I could see where people would be intimidated. I'm going to let some of her words. Again, I apologize not having the video. I plan to have some of the clips. Thank you, Lisa. I love that. She's part of the Target Red Circle Club. Vinny did seem surprised. He did. Like, really? Yes. But think about it. If she was a member of the jury, came out and said, she also said, Vinny, I thought it was a very good interview. Then he said, do you think she was just not guilty, meaning they'd prove the case, or factually innocent? She said both. Well, no, it's one or the other. I don't think she's an attorney. She also said, once we found out that the video clips could be used as evidence. What do you mean, once we found out? I thought you're an attorney. Once we found out. If you didn't pay attention to the news, and you go on a week 9, and there's someone like, hey, listen, I'm an attorney here. You don't know what you're talking about. I could see where someone would be intimidated like that. I'm in air conditioning, though, Lynn. I appreciate that. So, all right. I want to play some of this. Again, I know it would be more effective if I had some of the video clips. But I want to do a little stop and start with, and I wasn't planning on doing this. But before I play that, I was actually having dinner, getting organized for the week. And then all of a sudden I see that she's sending messages to me or tweeting at me. And I said, why? I said to her, on court TV, you were very critical of the police who testified. O'Hara, Keefe, yet you had no criticism of defense witnesses. Why is that? They seemed credible. They didn't lash out. They answered directly. They weren't clenching their fists, butting their lips or shaking. O'Hara was barely cross-examined. Keefe, barely cross-examined. The defense got up maybe a couple of questions. They weren't biting. She's lying. That's a lie. Who does she criticize? Officer Devers. She criticizes Proctor. She says, and you'll hear it, I wanted Albert and Higgins on the stand. Police, police, police. All the witnesses she didn't like, all police officers. How is that not a bias? Marie Russell was credible. Marie Russell, the dog bite expert of the country, was credible. Yes. She's Lapazada with the breathing. Lapazada. John was 7'2". She was credible. How about the guy that came in? Yeah, he measured. What the fuck was that all about? Lucky Sergeant Schultz. He was credible. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that is Brian Albert was not even really mentioned. I wanted Brian Albert on that stand. I wanted Higgins on the stand. Oh, Lucky. Lucky was great because he didn't see anything or hear anything. Our next witness, Helen Keller for the defense. Ray Charles. Fucking A, this lady. But then she didn't like Deb. Oh, no. No. Folks, we know, and many of you, it is Agent 99. She also writes, I could go on and keep feeding your agenda. My agenda. You're the one like, here are my fat feet in the sand. I thought they were men's feet. I thought she was at the beach with her husband. I don't want to get personal about it, but I'm just going to put my feet in the sand. Found guilty of needing an emergency pedicure. I think we can all agree on that. No need to deliberate. Guilty of needing an emergency pedicure. Hey, listen, you're supposed to be from Brazil. Just buy some fake tanner and put it on those ghost white feet and legs. And on top of that, if you're going to take a picture of your feet, like, they should be immaculate. We shouldn't see any dirt. I don't know. Maybe it could be a Brazilian thing. Maybe they don't shave the rock. I don't know. But, God knows your journey. And this is her to me. What led you to become such a poor journalist, a bitter human being? You won't threaten me. Try again. Threaten? I didn't threaten you. What? Who threatened? All right, this is my message. Hi there, Angela. For Juror 11. If you think, or any of these idiots out there, if you think I threatened her, contact the police. Cool. Fine. Good. Let them look at that. It's ludicrous. Folks, every day, police all over every precinct district, they get a phone call. Sometime during the day. My next door neighbor threatened me. Really? How did your next door or across the street neighbor, person across the street, threaten me? They looked at me in a menacing manner. Police get this phone call every day. They have to drive there, say to the person, they were getting their mail, and they looked at me in a menacing manner. Police have to check it out. They go talk to the neighbor. Did you look at your neighbor across the street in a menacing manner? Like, what? No, I was squinting. It was sunny out. What are you talking about? Police say, all right, there's nothing to it. But they get those calls every day. I will not. You threaten it. And then she says this. Neither the police nor politics scare me. Not in Brazil, not in the USA. Who's talking about Brazil? Lady, you're in the Northeast. I'm proud of the kind of human I've become. Who talks that way? I'm a proud human. Let me ask you a question, human to human. And I'm raising humans who will always stand their ground in front of someone like you. Well, listen, it's a relief, honey, that you're raising fucking humans, as opposed to what? I'm raising humans. She also said, one advantage I have over many people, I grew up in a third world country and learned how to be tough, how to take adversity and turn it into opportunity. You don't scare me, not even a little, and you're not getting a discount at Target. Oh, I don't want a discount at Target, Juror 11. This is her to me. Sir, I was raised by a group of incredibly strong women in a fairly poor neighborhood in a third world country. Well, the niece and nephew of John O'Keefe, their parents died. Their uncle, who became their legal guardian, was murdered, and they're being raised by their grandparents. But I'm glad you're so obsessed about your fucking upbringing, like anybody gives a listen, lady, I don't care if you were raised by the cartel in Brazil. Jesus. I've been caught in the middle of... There's Lisa. She cried for the O'Keefes. How come she didn't mention Peg? How come she didn't mention the niece? I've been caught in the middle of shootings. I've been robbed, harassed in the workplace, and threatened by lunatics. Good thing she was on the jury. So, yes, thank you. You can. I stopped respond like I mean it. I'm not a troll. I'm not. But when they go to the victim card, what drew it out? What drew it out? Why did they freak? Who was a good witness? I think I didn't trust Brian Higgins on the stand. Paula, Brian Higgins didn't testify in this trial. What it should also be fucking noted is Machado didn't even register that you know that who I let me just we have it. I mean everybody has it who it was. But it was test chart. That's who she said. Lisa, oh, that test chart. She was the witness. I was looking through my notes and test chart. What an incredible witness. When we were in the deliberating room, all the jurors agreed test chart was the best witness. That's a very compelling story, Juror 11. There's one problem with it. Test chart didn't testify in this trial. Come on, that's a red flag. That's not what she said. There was nothing with her name on the report. But nice try trying to cover for her. Yeah, she is bragging. Oh, yeah, I'm going to write a book and be rich and famous. What a disgrace. What a fraud. Listen, I don't believe her. There's something there. And the moment I said, I think the police should investigate, boom, they go into attack, full-fledged attack coming at me. He's threatening her. He's threatening her. These people, I mean, obviously it's preposterous. Yes, she is a liar, Britt. And on top of that, she did say she didn't believe the Google timestamp. I may post that. All right. And I also want to mention that, folks, we have a right to discuss this. I'm not saying it could be overturned. There's an attorney on X. How dare you people discuss this, saying it? Who said it could be overturned? It's called jury nullification. People go in to become a juror. They're less than truthful to 100%. 100%. True crime. I live 8 minutes from 34 Fairview, but I wasn't watching any of that. I work at the Target in Westwood. Victoria George. Hey, everybody, it's me, Vicky George. Remember me? I was the first. You've been pushed aside. Oh, my God. Here's a picture of me in case you forgot. God, these people try to be relevant. I contemplated not going live tonight until I started getting attacked. But, folks, why is that? And I also want to be very clear. I said, why are certain people nervous suddenly that I mentioned that perhaps the police should talk to Juror 11, not in a manner to intimidate Juror 11, and also knowing that I don't know if anything could be done, but if there was nothing amiss, why would certain people be nervous at the mere mention that police should investigate? I think that's really interesting. Right? Thou who protests too much. Juror 11 who puts herself out there. And then a string of things at me. Why? I said, could you tell me, why did you say, test chart, you will not threaten me. You will not intimidate me. I was raised in a third world country by strong women. I work at Target. You will never get a discount. How dare you threaten me and my family? I will put you in your place. Lady, I asked, why did you say a fucking witness that didn't testify in the trial? Here's the thing. Every member of the media should be asking this question. It should be the lead story on Fox 25, on WBZ television. Right? 100%. If it was reversed, would she be celebrated this way if she had voted guilty? What would be the reaction if Karen Reed were convicted? Is if I don't know the answer to this. What would be the reaction if Karen Reed were convicted and a juror was suddenly everywhere doing interviews and then said, I think the most impressive witness, and then said the name of someone that didn't testify in the trial? Do you know she said, I'm going to play right now on Court TV, she said that she didn't find, Vinny to his credit asked her, she didn't find taillight fibers found in John's clothes. You'll hear it. She said, I didn't find that credible. But Marie Russell's credible. Oh, that woman, she's the leading expert in the country on dog bites or dog abrasions. She's never testified before. Marie, if we could borrow you out of the limo with Alessi for a minute, could we, do you want to look at the jaws? Oh, no. I don't need to. I was in the limo with Mr. Alessi. Whew. Yannetti. Oh, people shouldn't have. Yannetti, yeah, who actually went after Colin Albert, David Yannetti, who knew that a teenager had nothing to do with what happened that night. These people are shameless. They are bankrupt. Paula, celebrated juror. She's a lawyer. She's brilliant. She's from Brazil. Yeah. Now she has to go back to stocking shelves or spill in aisle 3. All right. I want to play this. It's I know it's just audio, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, I have the video. There we go. More questions is right. Vinny, I don't think could. Her answers, folks, it doesn't stand to reason. And I'll play for you. He said, I don't believe planted. Hear me out. I don't believe planted. I think I laid it out pretty well last night. So now again, at this point, I want to be very clear. I'm just saying it all seems very strange. It all seems odd to me. Vinny says, if you could be in a room with Karen Reed, what would you want to ask her? And what do you hear? She said, no, nothing. Nothing. I think she spoke enough. She never took the stand. Nothing? No, she's been through enough. She should be a lawyer. How would you? She didn't talk in court. You know, the way she'd go up with them. Oh, no. I'd say, girlfriend, you've been through enough. Interesting. No questions for her. I have a couple. Why did you say I hit him? I hit him. Why did you create this story? Why were you leaving those voicemails? Why did you call Jen McCabe and said I left him at the waterfall and then hang up? Why did you see Kerry Roberts? Why did you call Kerry Roberts and say John got hit by a plow? Why did you say John's dead? No questions. No, I have no questions for Karen. How do you view Karen? As a bestie. Really, as one of your besties. It's an interesting phrase. Because she was drunk. Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. Exactly. All right, let me see if I can. It's so.
Yeah, it's just a bit tired with everything that has been going on, especially today. But I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so we appreciate that. Let me ask you, first of all, not guilty or factually innocent?
It's one or the other.
Tonight, not guilty meaning prosecutors didn't prove it. That's the standard in our courtrooms. We understand. Do you believe that she was just not proven guilty, or do you believe she was factually innocent, meaning you are convinced she had nothing to do with it?
By the way, that would be fair if someone said, I just don't think they thread the needle. So I had to vote not guilty. Notice he says, do you think not guilty or factually innocent? It's an either or. It's a fair question. It's an either or. All right, let's hear Juror 11.
Death of John O'Keefe.
not guilty and innocent. In my personal opinion, she is innocent. I can't see his death being caused by a collision. I'm not sure if a collision happened. I've mentioned before that maybe she touched him, maybe she back up a little fast and hit a curb or got too close to him and he had to step away or something.
Let me stop it for a moment. Folks, that's manslaughter right there. This is her words now. I think she backed up, maybe hit him, touch him. That's what Hank Brennan was talking about. She's basically saying Hank Brennan made the case. That what she just said is that means you vote guilty. But listen to where she goes. This is Juror 11. Oh, she just starts coming up with her own theories. Let me just explain something. You're not supposed to come up with your own theories. You're not expected to. It's supposed to just be based on what they laid out. Based on what she just said, it should have been guilty. I do believe she backed up and then touched him, hit him. That's it. She just made the case. But no, not Juror 11. Not Juror 11. Not Miss Target. Nope.
But I don't think her car pushed John O'Keefe to death, that pushed him away and made him hit his head on the floor and kill him. So not guilty and innocent.
On the floor. All right. In this country, we call it the ground. Floor would be inside the house. I'm not trying to be mean. Words matter. That's what she said. Thank you, Selma. That's what she said. There's a difference. There's a difference between floor and ground. I'm not being mean, but there is a difference. Don't tell me there isn't a difference. Don't tell me what you think she thought. All right, it continues. This is just the beginning of it. Do you understand that right there? That's a guilt. She was supposed to vote guilty.
And you just mentioned one potential theory there. Is that what you think may have happened here to John O'Keefe? What are your thoughts about how John O'Keefe could have ended up dead on the yard of 34 Fairview?
Yeah, again, it's a theory. The same way I couldn't prove that Karen Reed was guilty, I can't prove what happened inside that house, what happened that night. But I do believe...
Stop the tape and hold on. Robin was right. It is a little warm. Okay, sorry about that. It is a little warm. You're not, as a member of the jury, it is not your task, responsibility to solve the crime. That's not part of it. Why is she talking about the house? Do you understand? There was no evidence he ever went in the house. No evidence that he went in the house. None that she can point to. This is way beyond the pale. This is a runaway train. This is a runaway juror. There's no evidence, not a witness or data that shows he went in that house. And she's already pushing that theory. Terrible, embarrassing, disgraceful, lazy. She had an agenda. This one. Wow. I also want to be very clear. There's, and I mean nothing wrong with anyone that works in retail, Target, whatever. However, when we try to get sold, as the media was trying to do, some media, she's an attorney. Oh, look at this brilliant lawyer from Brazil. Total bullshit. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with anyone who works. I admire people that work. It's tough to find people that work. So, especially for retail these days, you can't get these. There's no service, right? That's why we order everything online. I had to go to a store yesterday. It took me 10 minutes to friggin' find one person to ask a question. She is saying things that are not in there was no evidence. You're supposed to make a decision based on the evidence. Karen Reed admitted John didn't go into the house, but none of that in evidence. None of that in evidence. Karen never talked about it. There was no clip played in court. That's what I'm going on. All right, let's go back.
Because of the amount of alcohol both of them had, John O'Keefe had more to drink than Karen.
John O'Keefe had more to drink than Karen. I've never heard that before. He was drinking Bud Light. She was drinking doubles. John O'Keefe drank more. So now we're taking a shot at the victim. You know, I haven't heard that before. And I think I know this case pretty well. John O'Keefe drank more than her. Why is that even relevant? Where did she get that from? The fucking nerve on this total fraud asshole. Wow. Totally spitting in the face of the O'Keefes. Well, you know who says that? Her side says that. John, remember? A lot of people have heard that. John was drunk. He started a fight. You know, they're so quick to throw him under the bus. He looked like a buffalo on the prairie, the body in the snow. It's disgraceful the way these people. Well, you know, he was drunker than her. I want to blame him. He was drinking Bud Light. She was complaining about a weak pour, the drunk skank.
Maybe when he left the car, she could back up too fast and touch him, and that could be an explanation for him to lose his shoes or for his phone to fall down and get in pocket state, which was something that the data showed.
What a disgrace this lady is. I'm glad I just saw someone say, yeah, she had 9 drinks. Claudia, please. She's got her people she's doing interviews with. You missed the part we went through the Twitter exchange. I would love to, but you know what? You're trying to threaten. Listen, I live in reality. I live in reality. She would have to throw that out. She would have to throw that out. I want to hear from someone else. We've heard a lot from her. Don't get me wrong. Initially, I did, but when she was going on and on, I said, "Hey, if you want it," and then people, "Oh, look, he's now begging." I'm not begging anyone. Get a hold of yourself. Blaming John. Haven't heard that before. Yep. You know, I love these people. Guess what? You can leave, Meadow or Meow. Still going on about the trial? Hey, listen, we're adults discussing it. Go somewhere else. What on earth makes these people think that we want them part of the conversation? If I hear from one more person that says, I'm no longer following you, if you believe the flat earth bullshit that this crowd is putting forward, you are doing me a favor. You ever heard the expression, some people improve the quality of the room by walking out of it? She is making it up as she goes along. Let me back that up.
But he might have left the car. She could back up too fast and touch him, and that's going to be an explanation for him to lose that head
on the yard of 34 Fairview.
Yeah, again, it's a theory. The same way I couldn't prove that Karen Reed was guilty, I can't prove what happened inside that house, what happened that night. But I do.
Hold on. There's no evidence he went inside the house. Why is she saying I can't prove when you're not supposed to prove what happened in the house? You know why? Because nothing happened in the house. The nerve of her. This is Juror 11 on Court TV. Hold on.
Believe that because of the amount of alcohol both of them had, John O'Keefe had more to drink than Karen.
You know, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Why would she say that? Why did she say that? Where did she get that from? I'm telling you, that line was given to her. Well, you know, John drank more than her. I haven't heard in what way, what scenario would that be relevant in any way? John had more than Karen that night. He was drinking Bud Light. He was the one hit and killed Where did she get that line? I'm going to put this out there. If there's anyone that's watching, thank you, Janet. Anyone that's watching, I and put it out to the towel and everything. I mean, what do you got? I mean, that someone gave her that line. Well, I mean, John was drinking more than her. What? Who testified to that? I didn't know anything about that. How does she know that? Even if that is true. Was that in the first trial? Yeah, and he wasn't driving. Why does that matter?
Maybe when he left the car, she could back up too fast and touch him, and that could be an explanation for him to lose his shoe.
Then that's guilty. What she's saying right now, in all seriousness, and we've had fun and I like to joke around, but in all seriousness. Oh, okay. It's a medical examiner report. But how does that come into play? But anyhow, I want to keep it going here. I don't understand the relevance of it. So, but what she just said right there should have been a guilty verdict. Right there. Even if it's just on the manslaughter. Because the whole thing is, how can she say, I think she's factually innocent? She's saying, I think the car touched him. Again, words matter. These people, that's racist to say. It's not racist to say words matter. Because there was a lot of technical information here. If for whatever reason, someone wasn't fully understanding everything or the context of it, then it can make a difference. And I won't be told differently.
For his phone to fall down and getting pocket state, which was something that the data showed us. But in my opinion, he got up and he went inside the house with or without shoes. I don't know when he lost his shoes eventually, but I don't think he died outside. I think
with or without his shoes. I can't repeat this enough. There was no evidence presented in this trial, none, that said that he went in that house. None. And I noticed that, again, everyone does something differently. But notice she's not citing any evidence of him going in the house. For instance, she doesn't say, what I thought was very compelling was the following that puts him in the house. There was not one witness testimony, nothing about that. She is just, do you hear this? She is just making it up as she goes along. Now, I'm telling you, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make a decision on the evidence in front of you. And the judge says, you don't do any independent research and so forth. You're supposed to make a decision based on the evidence. The judge doesn't say, no, listen, I encourage you to think of other theories of what happened. I encourage you to try to think of other scenarios. This is a game. This is a mystery of who did it. And to win the game, you have to tell us what's your theory on what happened. That's not what this is. I want you to understand, that's exactly right, Ann. This is very disturbing answers. I can't believe she's saying it.
something happened inside the house and he was placed outside.
Now, that is very inflammatory. She is yelling fire in a crowded theater. This woman, this Paula, she is so irresponsible to be doing that. But I'm a juror, and something in that house happened and he was placed outside. That is exactly, you know what's so disturbing? That was the third-party culprit from the first trial. They didn't even do it this time. Now they have him in the garage. She can't even keep up with the garage of the house. There's something odd about this whole thing. But where is she getting this from? There's no evidence to support what this woman is saying. Juror 11.
And do you have because it's not clear, and the defense was talking about the garage. In the first trial, they talked about the basement. Do you have any idea where in the house he may have gone, and why do you think that?
Assuming that a lot of the witnesses that was in the house that night didn't.
Hold on. Assuming? Assuming in a murder trial? Did she just say that? assuming. Do you know why there's sworn testimony? Do you understand why they spent the amount of money with the reconstruction? Do you realize why they go for eyewitnesses? Can't be hearsay. Assuming. Assuming. Now, I'm going to keep playing this. Can you imagine if this was a guilty conviction and someone went on doing an interview like this and just totally was making things up, right? Let's just say let's say she did a guilty. And then she said, I think that not only did she hit him, I think she went back and was punching him in the snow. And I think he went to get up. And I think Karen took a golf club and clubbed him in the back of the head. That's why I voted guilty. Can you imagine the outcry on that if that happened? How? I'm assuming. Whew, these are her words. These are her words in a fair but friendly interview.
See him, all the Brian, his friends, the people who are celebrating his birthday, assuming that none of them saw him, so maybe he went inside the house through the garage. And during trial, there was a moment with a picture of the garage that
Thank you,
was
Leafy.
hidden from us. We had to leave the courtroom and
Thank
then come
you.
back, and wasn't we
Listen to this.
don't know why the garage door has to be blurred for us. I don't know why we can see pictures from inside the garage or having an idea how the inside the garage look. But I remember in one of the witnesses, the last one, Dr. La Posada, she mentioned that he saw pictures of a real estate agency of the garage inside, but was objected and we didn't hear from her what was inside the garage. But raised doubts, raised questions.
So just the
There's no doubts and no questions. What are you talking about? There's no evidence in the garage. The first time around, they were saying it was in the basement. I mean, this is beyond absurd. This is beyond absurd. So at this point, it really is. So, and I get that, you have the various trash now trying to come in, but that's all right. We can handle it. They're so upset. They worship their juror. They do. I have no idea what she's talking about.
the fact that there was a question about it, so what was your interpretation of why you weren't allowed to see it? Like, what's the impact of that on you?
Everything she says going forward in this interview, she's blaming the prosecution. It's all shots about the prosecution. Why was that kept from us? How come we didn't see that? I wanted to see what inside the garage. They have data evidence that show his phone outside, and that was huge. Temperature of the phone and the whole thing.
That's something I'm always very curious about when there's a piece of evidence that one side wants in, and then all of a sudden you're not allowed to see it. What did you take away from that?
It becomes suspicious if there is something over there that the Commonwealth didn't want us to see. It's because it could be something beneficial to Karen Reid. And what could be beneficial for Karen Reid regarding a garage door or a picture of inside the garage coming from a real estate? I don't know, but I think that was a question for a lot of us.
Fascinating. How quickly did the entire jury agree that there wasn't a collision?
I cannot count Friday as a day we actually start deliberating. On Friday was just more as everybody just want to talk because we've been silent about this case for so long, and we really want to just put it out our impressions, what we think about the trial, this evidence X, Y, and Z. So it was very chaotic. But Monday we start to be more organized and checking the witnesses and checking our notebooks, what one juror had written, what I did, and what other did, so we can check facts and see and remember everything that we heard and saw it. There were people who didn't believe Karen Reid killed him, and there was also I would say 30% that was like in the fence, and there were two people who think she was guilty, and we had to talk through it.
And how long did it take to talk through it?
Now that's important, because when people say, so do you think she swayed 11 people? She's telling you, I didn't have to sway 11 people. So there's 12 of them. Well, 11, right? She's saying 30%. So in my mind, she set out on, there's 3 people I got to work on. There's 3 people that are guilty I got to work. So a couple more were on the fence. You know, who, I don't know. But it wasn't 11. Because then there were a couple others that I think are a little questionable. But
for everyone to agree that, hey, this wasn't a collision. Now we've got to talk about the operating under the influence charge.
The next 3 days, pretty much.
Okay,
whole
so
Monday, whole Tuesday, we are going through it.
Okay, I didn't know if you had reached it on one and then we're just focused
Yes.
on the other, but it was a continuing conversation. Let me ask you, do you have any idea what was going on outside?
No, and it's bothering me that some people think we are influenced by the
She's
kind
wearing
of
pink.
supporters, that we are hearing them and we felt pressure or something. We couldn't hear anything. We didn't
I know,
see them
Selma.
in the courthouse, because the bus always dropped us off in the back of the courthouse, and the streets were closed. Police were protecting us. The people from the court, the security guards, they were all protecting us. So no way
I
we
agree,
couldn't see
Barbara.
what was
Boy, the
happening
more
in front
she
of
talks.
the court. Sometimes we would drive
Oof.
by and see a pink shirt here and there, but that was it. Not that big crowd, and we couldn't hear. Bottom line, we couldn't hear.
Why go out of your way to say that?
Let's get into some of the evidence here. What was the most important piece of evidence for you? Physical evidence, whether
Listen
it's
to
a
this.
video or something tangible. What was the most important piece that helped you understand what happened?
The piece of tail light definitely was very important to me. Seeing the broke tail light compared to a new one, comparing to his shirts, comparing to the little pieces. So putting everything together around the tail light was very important. And
Thank you,
the
Selma.
holes on John O'Keefe
Yes.
hoodie, it just didn't feel like something coming from the plastic of the tail light, the shape of the holes. So that raised suspicion to me and reasonable doubt.
Notice she throws out the word reasonable doubt. Is there anyone that's saying, you know, I just don't know about the holes on the sweatshirt? Like that's a non-answer to me. That is total. I don't believe that. You know, I just wasn't sold on the holes in the shirt. I prior to this, I never heard anyone mention that. I didn't hear anyone mention that. He was found in a debris field of taillight that Karen said they found him where I basically left him. Oh, the taillight. Well, the taillight would mean conviction, you voted guilty.
His arm injuries for sure. Seeing close-up pictures of his arms and the autopsy pictures in general, looking for more injuries, more evidence of a collision from a car at 24 miles per hour. And I couldn't see it, and none of us could.
That's interesting.
Hold on. You don't look for more injuries. Again, folks, I'm not trying to be redundant. And I want to thank everyone again for, especially all of our new YouTube people. Make sure you follow the page. We have great mods. You could send a super chat or something like that. On Facebook, of course, stars. If you're on X, look at that at the bottom. Venmo, Cash App, support the content. I'm under attack without question. But do you hear this? She is so negative about the prosecution. And it is scary to listen to me. Like I was appalled listening to this. She is literally giving the talking points of the Free Karen Reed crowd. Oh, don't worry about them. We couldn't hear them. We couldn't hear them. Why would you mention that? Someone told her to say you didn't hear them. I may have seen one or two shirts, but we couldn't hear them. I know. That's exactly right how Brennan feels. She is. You're going to hear it coming up where she mocks them. I'm telling you, there's something up here, right? Don't we all agree? This is not how someone talks who went in. The attitude on her,
Right? I said, what's the most important piece of evidence? And you pointed out a couple things, but there's also a lack of evidence, which is significant as well. Who was the most important witness?
Hold on. I also want to mention her thing of why I didn't see enough injury. You go off. I thought it was very credible how they explained how he banged his head, and they showed the demonstrations. He was spinning out of the way. Her, no, I don't see it on the leg. No, I don't see it on that. It is. Wait till you hear the next segment. It's actually worse. Most credible.
The medical examiners were very important.
Thank you,
the
Casey.
engineers from ARCA to me were very important. But also the witness who didn't behave as we expected. Their demeanor in the court, in the stand, they were nervous. They will not answer directly. So we observed that too. So most.
Thank you, Yankee Gal. She mentioned she didn't like Kelly Deborah. Listen to who else that she didn't like. Listen to who else. It's all police. All she does is bash the police. You know what else is? Do I have to remind you, John O'Keefe was a son, a friend, a brother, an uncle. Where do you hear who she didn't like? And she says Alessi was her favorite attorney. And she loved Alan Jackson.
The important witness for me was ARCA. Both of the engineers who came.
ARCA, Kelly Deborah.
Observe Officer Dever and Officer Buchanek and how they interacted with the lawyers in court. That also was very important to me.
Did you feel at any point during this trial that anyone...
She didn't like Yuri Buchanek. She didn't like O'Hara. She didn't like O'Keefe. She didn't like Kelly Deborah. And she wanted Brian Albert and Higgins. She didn't like that they didn't testify. Thank you, Pat Brooks. Look at that. Holy cow. I didn't even know it goes that high. Hank was brilliant. Thank you very much, Pat Brooks. Wow. Folks, she has nothing positive to say about the prosecution. Zero. It's all the police. All the police. And I'll give Grant credit, the towel. Her father-in-law is in federal prison. Espionage against the United States. Her, the husband, and the kids had to flee to Brazil. Had to flee this country. She is nothing positive. O'Hara, perfect witness. Thank you, Pat. Kelly Deborah. I didn't like Yuri. I didn't like Kelly Deborah. I didn't like O'Hara. I didn't like Keefe. I didn't trust Higgins and Albert. Yeah, but they didn't testify. I know, but I didn't trust them. And John, that cop, he drank more than Karen. Have you ever heard more police bias than her? I mean, this is actually, I am telling you, somewhere the defense, they've got to be laughing their ass off of it. Alan Jackson must be laughing. He's got to be. This is a script. Is there any reasonable person that thinks that there is something obviously up here, and she just overdid it? And many times, as I said last night, people make mistakes. She's mentioning witnesses who didn't testify in the trial. Remember, Godfather 1, Godfather 2. This was Godfather 2. What really stood out to you in the movie? Probably the wedding scene. Okay. Now, you didn't see Godfather 1? No. Nope. We just watched Godfather 2. And what stood out to you? The wedding scene. Really? Okay. What else? When Don Corleone was shot. I think you get where I'm going. That'd be fine, except that was Godfather 1. What a liar. What a fraud and a liar. The answer is, though, why? Why? What was in it for her? 4 kids, working at Target, wants to be famous, had to flee the country. You know what you need? If you have 4 kids and you're working at Target, you know what you need? Thank you, Carrie Lynn Bryan. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know what you need if you have 4 kids and you're working at Target? Money. Money. Ready? Don't tell me that that doesn't go on. Don't tell me that doesn't, don't tell me that someone could, and I'm just saying, hypothetical, but don't say that one or more people that had a lot to gain couldn't have somehow gotten to this person and said, we have, pick a number, 25,000 reasons why you need to vote not guilty and convince the others to vote not guilty. It's a gamble because there was no guarantee she was going to get chosen. She could have ended up an alternate. That's why you do half up front. Thank you very much, D. Simon. Half the other way.
Was misleading you or trying to mislead
Listen
you,
to
whether
this.
it's one of the lawyers or one of the witnesses?
Every day, I think that's something that we comment in the deliberation room, that we felt lied from everyone everywhere. Like some moments, I know attorneys, they needed to make the drama and point out things and say things that they know they're not supposed to say.
Talking about a
They
witness.
try to put it up there so we can think about it.
Witness.
I felt some witnesses hide information.
Like who?
Not sure if they lied on stand, but hide information for sure. And the lawyers are they're doing their job. They are just trying to lead us in the direction that was convenient to them.
Okay, I get the part with the lawyers. From the witnesses, which witnesses
Listen to
do you
this.
feel were trying to hide something from you?
I think Jen McCabe was. I think O'Hara, Officer O'Hara. Don't remember his first name. He was shaking. He was very, very nervous during the trial. I'm not sure about the name, but I think Officer Keefe too. Buchanan, he seems to be very uncomfortable, and something he said didn't seem believable.
Now, was there any witness that you wanted to hear from?
First of all, Jen McCabe was a spectacular witness. Jen McCabe kept her cool. Jen McCabe, people raved how she kept her calm. She wouldn't get rattled by Jackson. Jen McCabe, you mean the one that Karen called, the one that got dressed up in a blizzard and went out to find her friend John? Jen McCabe, who was then protecting Karen, saying, you're delirious, don't say anything. Jen McCabe, I didn't find her, but folks, I mean, how much more are we supposed to listen to? Now, I was there when O'Hara, they didn't even cross him. He was clenching his fist and his cheek. That is completely a lie. I think his name was Keefe or O'Keefe. These guys were solid. They barely crossed them. It's a couple of questions off. They want do you understand, when you have a good witness, you want them off the stand. Jen McCabe, who told her to say that? I don't believe this. What trial? This is not. I can't believe what I'm fucking hearing. I gave a lot of time to this, like everyone else. I thought this was going to be on the up and up. This is ridiculous. Brian Albert didn't testify. Higgins. She also mentioned, when Nicole Albert didn't testify. Like, what? I don't even know if she was mentioned. Barely. There's something. Yeah. It goes beyond knowing about it. These are free Karen Reed talking points. It goes beyond that. This feels like an agenda. And I want to repeat, the moment I said about police investigating, boom, she went on the attack against me. And now they say, oh, he's racist. He's racist. So he is racist. He's going after her. he is, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's, whatever. He's a fucking liar, too. I don't care how many people. I don't. Listen, there's someone that had under 20,000 followers. The moment they kick into the free Karen Reed bullshit, I get that. It's over 40 now. It's not about that. If I wanted to, if I had just said, oh, absolutely framed, forget it. It's not the way we roll. It continues.
That did not testify in the trial, because there were a lot of names talked about during the course of the trial, but not all of them testified. Was there anyone that you wanted to hear from that neither side called to the witness stand?
Definitely, I would really want to hear from Brian Higgins and Brian Albert or Nicole Albert. It was a surprise to all of us that none of them were come to the stand. I didn't know their faces.
But that is absolutely preposterous. That should have been, we were waiting for Karen to take the stand. I mean, give me Nicole Albert? She wasn't even mentioned, but she wasn't part of third-party conspiracy. Oh, absolutely. That is like bullshit. Total bullshit is what that is.
Heard their names. I didn't even know who Michael Proctor was until I learned through trial that he was a former officer, so he was fired. But because he was fired and so many people brought his investigation to the spotlight, I think I didn't need to see him, but I really want to see Higgins and Albert.
And what did you want to hear?
Boy, that is very, I want everyone to hear me out at 8:17. That is very dangerous gaslighting. This is a juror, and she is sending signals to the mob, and she is throwing red raw meat to the mob. She is ginning them up. All of those imbeciles, all of the sea of skanks and everything, all of those people. This is a juror. This isn't just, I'm the mother of four that works at Target. No, she is sending them, do your thing. Go out there, right? Crucify him. What do you mean you needed to hear from them? Do you want Higgins to get on the stand and talk about how Karen kissed him or the text messages? Brian Albert, why? Because they're both law enforcement? The two guys that drove that morning to a police officer's funeral in New York and drove back? This part really irks me, because she is fanning the flame of people to go after innocent people who did nothing wrong. And she, I'm just a mother of four and I'm Brazilian and blah, blah bullshit. This is dangerous rhetoric. And look at how they're worshiping this fucking fraud. And that's exactly what she is. Her saying to me, I'm not going to be intimidated. Guess what, honey? Guess what? That goes two fucking ways. Oh, you're not going to be intimidated. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Why don't you fucking go back to aisle 3? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? You're not going to be intimidated. Deported is more like it. What an asshole. I can't believe this fucking lady. Oh, Jen McCabe. Yeah, like that wasn't by design. God, they're impossible. Absolutely appalling. Jen McCabe was a great witness. Jen McCabe was maybe one of the best witnesses.
Them talk about.
Please, what Brian Higgins was doing in the middle of the night, the 29th of January 2022, in the Canton Police Department. And really, Brian Alberts and Nicole, you guys didn't hear, didn't see, didn't notice, felt what was going on outside? Those big question marks.
What? I am being as genuine as I cannot believe what I'm listening to. She's got real nerve, this one. But no, there's something there. There's something there. There's no way she went in, and very simply, I'm very clear. I don't believe she was honest when they were questioning her to get on the jury. Now, some people are saying, well, that's the Commonwealth's fault. That's Hank Brennan's fault. That's different people. If she lied and got on, but she's like laughing about it, right? Like she's dancing in the end zone. She's letting you know that she's from Brazil and she may work at Target, but she's smarter than all of you. I fooled all of you. Like this is so disgraceful to listen to. She's purposely firing a crowded theater. Yes, that's right. Wow. Spitting in the face of the O'Keefes. What a disgrace she is. She's not a hero. She's no one to be celebrated. This is not how our system is supposed to work.
Okay, imagine that Karen Reed is with you in a room.
Listen to this.
What questions do you have for Karen Reed?
How can you be so calm all the time? Honestly, that's shocking to me. First of all, I'm sorry that she went through this whole thing, and I want to hear from...
I'm sorry she went through this whole thing. Voicemails. The clips they played. I hit him. I didn't hit him. I didn't really hit him. I may have clipped him. How calm she is. How she went through this. Those are the questions. And she's not done.
Pearl, like how she maintained herself so calm and so present and so participative in the whole trial. How she maintained herself so firm all the time, honestly.
Do you have any questions of her?
I just want to mention, Karen Reed never talked in the courtroom. Do you understand? She never talked. So this business of, as opposed to what? I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? She didn't take the stand. She never spoke because she wasn't crying walking up to sidebar. Like, I don't even understand where she's going with this. Those are the questions. He continues.
About what happened that night?
I think she said enough about what happened. And if I had a chance to talk to her, I wouldn't go on this subject at all. I want to know about her. I want to learn about her personality, her likes, her life, whatever, what she has to say to teach, to show us something for the future.
She said enough? She didn't say anything. She could have taken the stand. She didn't take the stand. This is the Juror 11. What?
I would have asked about the past. That was draining for everybody, and imagine for her, for O'Keefe's family. What happened at night was presented to us in court. She said many times on television. There is docuseries, there is documentary, there is interviews. I can find that online, no problem.
Does that make sense to anybody? I could find what she said. What she said was extremely incriminating in the courtroom.
The investigators, what questions do you have for the men and women who were investigating this case?
Why no report? Why the investigation seems so sloppy? Why you guys didn't ask for a ring camera of the neighbors? Why you didn't call the owners of the house? Why the video of the Sally Port record inverted? Why you didn't collect evidence right away and left in the floor of a hospital and didn't secure evidence once it was in the police department? So many questions. All the holes that we found in the investigation I want to ask.
That is so insulting. First of all, the Sally Port video, that wasn't even an issue this time around. That is another clue. That was from the first trial, the inverted. The hospital, the clothes in the hospital, that's what she's focusing on. It's all negative with her. It's all negative on the prosecution. This is disgraceful. Plain English. It is. She's no one to be admired. This is terrible. I feel bad for the O'Keefes, obviously, but I feel bad for all of us that invested in this.
You mentioned so many questions. I have so many more questions. And Paula Prado, juror number 11, is going.
I mean it, you guys. Let me get. It's one more segment of this. I think. Let me pick it up again.
12 jurors from the retrial of the century
Wow.
of Karen Reed. Okay, Paula, first of all, everyone's wondering, you are wearing
Yes.
pink tonight. Is that on purpose?
Listen
Is
to
there
this.
a meaning to it? Or is it just one of your colors that you love?
It's a color that I love. In fact, I stopped wearing pink mid-trial. I had a lot of pink shirts, and once I heard that was part of her supporters, I don't want to give a wrong message, so I stopped wearing them. So just like a light baby pink, has nothing to do with my support.
Okay. You and me both. I have a whole bunch of people.
Except you're going on national television. You're doing an interview. Those of us that follow the case, we know what pink means. A lot of other colors she could have wore. She chose to wear this. She easily could have said that to herself, okay, I can't wear pink tonight, right? I mean, that would have been reasonable if she had worn, whatever. This, you could wear black, you could wear navy. You want to wear a summer thing, that's fine. But we know the whole thing with the pink. I believe that's not by an accident. I don't think that's an accident.
Ties I haven't worn, a whole bunch of blue ties that I haven't worn for months now. Okay, let's talk about the tail light and the tail light pieces. How do you believe the tail light pieces ended up at 34 Fairview, scattered near the place where John O'Keefe's body was found?
The theory I have, like, if she back up and maybe hit something, a curb or him, or some people in the jury raised the question, maybe he was mad and he could have thrown the glass on the tail light and break it. Another thing, the tail light was found 5:45, but there wasn't a report. The evidence bag didn't say the time, and the car was retrieved and was parked in the sale port at 5:36, if I'm not
Listen to
wrong.
the numbers.
And it's very close. The 34 Fairview and the police department is very close. It was time enough for someone to just show up and drop a piece of taillight at the scene.
So you believe that's a reasonable possibility that someone could have planted the evidence?
Yes, I think it's a possibility. I also think could be because she bumped something or even him, but lightly, not enough to kill him, throw him away, and he hit his head and died.
Do you understand that, like, she's making up theories? This is like a game to this woman. This is Juror 11. She was on Court TV with Vinnie Politan Friday night. She's just making things up. Does that anyone? I mean, look at everyone that's watching right now. Does that make sense? Am I alone here? I can't believe what I'm listening to. Proctor never testified. We know this time around the Sally Port, that wasn't a big deal this time around. So that wasn't a big deal at all. So yes, it's on YouTube. I'm seeing some of these X comments. Why are you obsessed with her? She's a juror who is absolutely, this is disgraceful of the things that she's saying about this trial. That's why. So I see some of this. You're the one that should be in jail. Screw. God, they're such losers. It is, but do you guys understand? I like to have fun and I like to joke around, but this is someone who's an attorney, so, allegedly. So let's sit and make up theories of what we think happened. You're supposed to go off of this business. No one is talking about someone had 14 minutes to plant evidence. There's no way she's on the up and up here. No one is saying that. That is, I didn't think anyone, like, what are you talking about? In a split decision, Proctor How did he? And I'll tell you why that is so ridiculous. There's several reasons, obviously, but at that time, Proctor didn't know if there was a camera. No one knew. They didn't know if there was a camera somewhere that may have captured it. They don't know if there was someone that there was a witness to it. Like, they didn't know. This is all early. You don't do that. So, not a great analogy, but this reminds me of, the people that would say, go back to a famous case, and that is, I know, but we need to hear it. You need to hear it. So, but this is along the lines of, Mark Furman planted the glove. Other people have said it. At that time of the morning, Mark Furman with the OJ case, he had no idea that OJ could have had a solid alibi. OJ could have been in another city. OJ could have been with a woman the entire time. OJ could have been with some golf friends. You're not planting. You know why? Is because Mark Furman, thank you, Selma, is because, that's right. Thank you, Selma. There's no way. See, I think that's interesting, Salo. People don't do things for free. The father-in-law's a crook. We know that. He's a serious crook. I mean, people that get involved with espionage, and they're supposedly working for the Egyptian government, people that try with espionage, that's a certain level. Those are people that really think they can outsmart the system. Think of that. Father-in-laws in federal prison, espionage at Raytheon. All right, we continue. We have to listen to it.
Okay, I'm going to show you some images. We put them up there in a second. These are the images from the closing argument of the Commonwealth. When you look at these images of the taillight, this is 5:07. This
Hi,
is
Nancy
after
McCormick.
Karen Reed leaves 34 Fairview, but before
I know. I don't know either.
Take custody of her SUV.
I don't know.
Do
Kathy.
you believe these show the right taillight broken to the extent that the Commonwealth says it was broken?
That's wrong, John Beckman.
Absolutely not.
I kind of find that offensive.
White
so
stain, it could be a crack, it could be a small piece.
Clarify if you meant that as an insult, because it is an insult.
Big damage that they showed us after the car was on the sailboard.
So I just want to make this clear. You believe that the images that we're looking at right here, inconsistent with the final photo that was in evidence of the total damage that the Commonwealth alleged was caused by Karen Reed striking and killing John O'Keefe.
Correct. And we also heard from Officer Barrows. He said that what he saw in Karen Reed's parents' house wasn't consistent with the final picture neither. So we listened to him as well.
That's actually not true. He backed off that on cross with Hank Brennan, who did a fantastic job. And I agree with one of you that said that, can you imagine Hank Brennan listening to this lady? I mean, the narrative she's telling is not reality. So then you come to motive, folks. What would be the motive? Why would someone with 4 children who works at Target, why would you agree? And it is a crapshoot, because you don't know. She may end up as an alternate. But why would someone do this? I put out today, maybe, I'm not making any accusations. It sure sounds like something that should be investigated. Did they use the Signal app? Immediately saying that, boom, they start attacking me. So, and also, listen, I am going to have a juror. There was someone that we thought was an alternate. And then I heard from the juror that I'm going to interview who said, well, we went through a lot and they didn't even deliberate. And if you're going to talk to alternates, they don't know what it was like. So I said, listen, I'll take it down. I'll delete it. You're right. The alternates, they didn't deliberate. So we're just going to go with the jurors. Now it sounds like the person actually wasn't an alternate juror. So I don't know. It was up for less than 1 hour. It's taken down. I get it. So they're screaming to high heaven, but whatever. So I have a legitimate juror. Let's continue.
Believe that there were small red shards of that tail light
Listen to
in
this.
John O'Keefe's clothing.
Listen to
Hank
this.
Brennan, the prosecutor, talked a lot about that. Do you believe they
Yes,
were there?
thank you, Eisen.
And if so, how did they get there?
The pieces were so tiny, so from all the big pieces they said they found on the 34th review, that tiny dust of tail light to the stop on his shirt, I don't know, it doesn't seem credible.
Okay, let me ask you about...
I want to repeat that. She's saying because the fibers of the taillight pieces found in his clothes, they weren't big enough for her to find credible. What about sometimes DNA? What about fingerprints? What about blood droplets? What about, like, I can't believe what I'm listening to. It's not credible because it was so small. No, the fact it's so small is what makes it credible. It's actually the opposite what this woman is saying, this juror 11. You know, the fibers are impossible to plant. If there's a huge shard of a taillight in his clothes, that'd be one. It was tiny little, thank you, Judy Fury, tiny little fibers that would be impossible to plant. So what does she say? I don't think that's credible. Come on, you guys. I mean,
So the lab, the state lab didn't say from where she took this, from exactly where on his clothes this debris were found.
Let me move on to the experts now. There was a battle of experts in this case. A lot of money was spent.
This is
on
tough
these
to
experts.
listen to. I
What
agree.
did you think
I
of
admit.
what we're calling the blue paint experiment that was done by Aperture, the accident reconstruction experts for the Commonwealth?
Terrible. Meaning her responses.
I think that
Listen to this.
their evidence wasn't good enough compared to what ARCA presented to us. That seems very unprofessional. What he was trying to prove with the blue paint was the place that the car could hit
Thank
him.
you, Frank Perry.
Without considering speed, without considering his size, weight. They are not the same size, they are not the same weight. The dummy wasn't either, but he has a human arm, so it's not like a dummy arm. And hit himself at 2 miles an hour is way different than 24 miles an hour. I smirk a little bit when I started seeing this video in court, because it was unbelievable that they pay so much money for someone to show this, just that presentation.
So I guess from your perspective, we always talk about the battle of the experts was clearly won from your perspective by the ARCA.
Listen how insulting.
Yeah, the ARCA experts did a way better job than Dr. Welcher did. I won't say Dr. Welcher intended to lead us to certain directions. He was, in his head, probably he was doing what he was asking for. He was proving that the tail light could reach John O'Keefe's arm, but we call it the preschool project.
A preschool.
It didn't convince us of it.
Look at her laughing. Do you see a couple things? Number one, she's mocking the reconstruction they did by Dr. Welcher, number one. Number two, why is she so obsessed with the cost? I couldn't believe how much, like that, the cost. I've never heard a juror talk about that. Never. I've covered a lot of trials. I've never heard a juror talk about, I couldn't believe the cost. Never. What, how much is Alan Jackson getting paid? Like, what is her obsession with the cost? Someone gave that to her. That, this is so troubling, folks. So troubling.
Okay.
Yes.
So the injuries on John O'Keefe's arm, he did have some injuries, right? I understand that you thought there should be more, but the injuries that he did have, how do you believe he got those injuries?
I believe in a dog theory. I know we didn't talk much about the dog in court, and we also didn't talk about the dog during deliberation. because wasn't presented to us much information about the dog. But as soon as I saw that picture, to me sounds like paws scratching and bites of dogs close to his elbow. I couldn't shake it off this impression that it was a dog.
And
Okay, let me just. What dog? Neighborhood dog? What dog? Loose dog? Stray dog? What dog? I believe in the dog theory. This is one of the jurors. This is Juror 11 making the media rounds. That's right. No evidence. None. I think it was a dog. How did he get the back of his head? Did a dog bite him while he was lying there? What dog? What dog? Guy across the street's dog? Next door dog? Stray dog? What dog? There's no dog evidence from the house. I believe in the dog theory. Well, there was no evidence of a dog theory. Wow.
what were your thoughts of the allegations that Jennifer McCabe, searched how long to die in the
Listen to
cold at
this.
2:27 a.m.? Do you believe that she did?
No, that's something the Commonwealth, I think, proved that she didn't. They did well on that one. The explanation that I think Dr. Whiffen gave about the first
I
tab
don't know
that
how
you
she got on
open,
the jury.
and then if you're going to search something in the same tab later, it's going to register the time you open the tab.
Yeah.
That was reasonable.
No DNA,
I think
Frank.
most of the jurors believe in that.
No bites.
We didn't question
Right? Dog
that
abrasions.
search in the middle of the night.
Okay. Paula
It is
Prado, Juror 11.
nauseating.
She's staying with us. We're going to take another short break. When we come back, more questions and, more important, more answer.
You know, we'll just play it out. We might as well. We're this close. It's difficult to listen to. You know, the only thing I want to let everyone know is it kind of did remind me of the OJ jury, because if you did follow that case, at the very end, they were basically talking about Rodney King. And when you saw the jurors, you want to talk about jury nullification. They went in, and as soon as they presented, you know, the race thing of the OJ and blah, 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 it absolutely, I mean, that there's no reasonable person would listen to this and think, wow, this woman's impressive. She really paid attention. She's talking about witnesses from the first trial that didn't testify this time. Solid piece of evidence of the fibers from the taillight in his clothes. I didn't find that credible. She's making up her own theories. You're not supposed to do that. That's highly irresponsible. That's not the way the system is supposed to go. You're supposed to judge it on what is being presented to you, and that alone. And she didn't do that. But on top of that, just hear me out. I'm going to play this. But there's to me, and I'm not trying to overreact, there's an element of danger here. You know, she keeps mentioning the Alberts. She's mentioning Brian Higgins. You know, well, I go with the dog theory. I am telling you, this is not just any person. She's not like a regular sea of pink skanks, you know, idiot. She was a juror. She's a juror. She's not worshipped in their eyes. To me, this is very dangerous language. This is tinderbox. This is yelling fire in a crowded theater. This is trying to inflame the mob. She's saying we need a better investigation. We need to reopen this up. We need to stop these. Listen, she's saying that we got to stop this police corruption in Brazil and the USA. She is an anti-police activist who decided to use this trial for her agenda to go after law enforcement. What else do we take away? Who didn't you like? I didn't like Devers. I didn't like Buchanan. I didn't like that O'Hara. I didn't like O'Keefe. They needed to get Albert on the stand. They needed to get Higgins on the stand. And that Boston cop, John O'Keefe, he was drunker than her. Right? She's basically like, he got what he had coming to him. Is there anyone that believes she mentioned someone from the state crime lab who didn't testify? Apparently, I didn't realize that. She is making up facts.
What's your opinion of her? What do you think of her as
Listen
a
to this.
person, as a human?
Karen, listen to this.
My first impression of her wasn't that good. I had this first prejudgment because she was very calm all the time. She didn't show any emotion, no tears. I'm a Latina woman, so I would expect someone to be crying and making a scene or something when you're being charged for murder. So I did have this prejudgment of her, but I know nothing about her life. I don't know what she did before. I think they said she was a professor in a college or work in finance. I really don't know anything about her, but I learned how to admire her, and I think she would be a great lawyer.
She'd be a great lawyer. She's talking about Karen Reed. I just want to remind everyone, Karen Reed never spoke in the courtroom. Karen Reed never spoke in the courtroom. Karen Reed could be illiterate. Well, other than the texting with Higgins, but that could have been talk to text. I think she'd be a great lawyer. She never talked in the courtroom. Where did she get this from? This is frightening. Especially that part jumped out at me. What do you think of her? She's amazing. She should be a lawyer. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? She never spoke. She didn't cross-examine a witness. She didn't testify. I think Karen Reed should be a lawyer. Because of the suit? Is that like this? Is this go deeper than we even think? What did you think of Karen Reed? Oh, she should be a lawyer. Based on what? Based on by the outfit? Because she didn't speak. She didn't make a legal argument. That to me, that there's something there. As someone that is, over 2 trials I've covered, I've never thought Karen Reed should be a lawyer. I've thought she should be in rehab. I've thought she has an anger management problem. I think there's something wrong with her, Karen Reed, just some of her expressions, the way she reacts, giggling at people being intimidated, terrorized. But I mean, unless I'm wrong, anybody else ever think that? Oh, she should be a lawyer. Huh. What about the court sheriffs? They're always in the courtroom every day. Should they also be lawyers? Like, where are we going with this? Karen Reed never spoke. Why should she? Because she went up to the sidebar? And this is coming from someone who's an attorney.
Before, I think they said she was a professor in a college or work in finance. I really don't know anything about her, but I learned how
her
to
lawyers
admire
always
her,
talk about Karen being a lawyer.
And I think she would be a great lawyer if she is looking for a new career path, because she was very present and very sharp on her trial. She knew things, she pointed out things, she remembered things. I think she was a great help to the lawyers, and I admire her for that.
Yeah, her lawyers have said the same.
Her lawyers have said the same. I admire. How does she know she pointed anything out? Because she sat there? Because she walked up the sidebar? Her lawyers have said the same. I've never thought that. She should be a lawyer.
What do you think of Judge Cannoni?
She doesn't have anything.
Judge Cannoni, she was.
It's like a bullshit answer.
Pleasant.
Let's get to about the lawyers. We're almost over. It's almost over.
Or did you get
Deliberation room with the questions? I
Bill's
have no
funny.
complaints about Judge
Yeah.
Cannoni.
And did you get the feeling that she was favoring one side or the other, or did you get any sort of vibe that she wanted one side to win and not the other?
I'm avoiding
I'll just
the
play
word
it.
favorite.
She says,
I can't say. I felt there was more objections being allowed in the defense witness. So Alan Jackson, I think he was the lawyer. He would object something, and she will allow all the time for Brennan. And the opposite happened when was Jackson objecting, and she would. I'm sorry, I'm saying the opposite. So when Jackson objected, she would allow, and when Brennan objected, she would sustain. So there was a moment, there was some witnesses that was hard to follow because there was so many objections from Mr. Brennan, and she was just allowing all of them.
yeah.
Now there were
Sustaining all of them. I'm sorry, I'm so confused.
that's okay.
It's almost over.
It's that way for everyone. But I get what you're saying, and what you're saying is, when the defense wanted something, it seemed like they didn't get what they wanted. When the prosecution wanted something, they seemed to get what they wanted a little more often, and that happens a lot.
Exactly. I could have used better words.
Yes,
That's
Fred.
what I meant. Thank you.
Listen to this. The lawyers.
Who was the most effective lawyer in the courtroom? And for folks who don't know, you're a licensed lawyer in Brazil, and so you have a great background in all this. So from your perspective, I think is really valuable. Who did you feel was the most persuasive, the most effective lawyer in that courtroom?
Persuasive, I'm gonna give to Alan Jackson. The way he presents himself, the way his voice, his presence in court is incredible. So he's looking in the eyes, and he will convince you and show
Yeah.
you like his story perfectly. The lawyer I liked the most was Alessi, Mr. Alessi. I just think he was so knowledgeable, and all the technical witnesses that he had to cross and direct, and it was incredible to watch their work. Mr. Brandon, I think he did great crossing examining, much more than he did direct examining.
See, that's an
that was
insult
interesting.
to Hank.
Yeah.
And then I think I heard that he's a defense lawyer.
I think I
He
heard.
really is. He was a
See, that's a
prosecutor.
dig.
He's been a defense attorney for many years.
That's a dig. This comes from the defense. This is a way to throw this. This comes from the defense. I think I heard he was a defense attorney. He's better at that. That was a dig at Hank, who carried the burden, who did an unbelievable job. That's an inside thing that she threw. Yeah.
Now he came in as a special prosecutor just for this case. What is your message for John O'Keefe's family?
Huh.
Well, the reason why I want to come out and
Nope.
speak to the press was because I
You know-
want the family to.
You know what else? No mention of the niece. And she has been coached, Richard. You know what else is? He would drone on. You know what else, though, is notice they wanted to put her out. There is value with, look how, like the media won't glob on as much to some of the other jurors. So there's a value. They have her make the rounds to get the narrative out there, right? Today, J.D. Vance, they put him out. All the Sunday shows about the bombing of Iran. This is by design. This was orchestrated. Putting her out there. The more I listen, why would she say that? I've never heard a juror say, I heard he was a defense attorney. He's probably better at that. Boy, what a dig. That is a personal dig. I mean, to me, boy, that sounds like that came from Jackson. No regular person would say that. This is very odd. This is very strange. This is not the norm. This is someone very much coached, told what to say, given a script. That was a very personal jab to throw out. You know, she's like, yeah, I heard he was a defense attorney. He represented someone named Blackie, maybe. Oh, you mean, well, yeah, maybe that. Actually, thank you, Selma. This is so
We feel
disturbing.
very sorry for their loss. I truly believe John was a great man. I believe
She doesn't
he
care about the
was a
family.
great uncle, son, brother, and his death was absolutely unnecessary. I don't know what happened to him. Nobody knows what really happened that
Yes,
night.
we do.
But I truly believe that wasn't Karen Reed, and for that reason, we couldn't convict her. And please, I really hope you can reopen the case. The family can reopen the case
That's
somehow. I don't
insulting.
know how the system working very
Listen,
well.
that's insulting.
And they can find really what happened to John O'Keefe that night.
Let me ask you this.
Wow. What a disgrace.
After this case, it's only been a couple days.
This was Friday
So
night.
you watch this entire trial, you hear all the evidence, you deliberate for days, you return the verdict, you're done. Have you taken any time to research and find out some of the things that weren't permitted in front of you as jurors, to find out more about the story, more about the history, etc., of what happened here? Did you do that after the trial at all?
I didn't much. One thing I did, like after the verdict, we went to the deliberation room and I download an X account and I started to follow all the journalists who were there because I know news go on this platform. I'm not very active on social media in general, but I wanted to go up there and see what they were talking about.
Right.
But I read much more people's opinion and the news from the trial itself.
Listen to this.
Than about what happened on the first trial. But I really want to I really want to watch the first trial. I want to watch the documentary. I want to go on the YouTube. I saw some YouTube videos of lawyers commenting on the case, but I didn't have time to check anything deeply serious, honestly.
Interesting. Do you know about Turtle Boy?
I can't.
Turtle Boy.
I can't listen to any more bullshit. She pretends like, oh, marine biologist. I can only listen so much. Folks, it is, I think you can find it online. She pretends like, oh, I think I saw a billboard, or I think blah, blah, blah. But it's very, very discouraging. All right. Such a liar. I know. First of all, I want to thank everyone. In all honesty, I was not planning on going live tonight, but then when the juror started attacking me, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't. And I wonder if they're betting on nothing happening. But I just, what we've learned in a short period of time and the things that she was saying, thank you, Red Sky, it's too cute. It's too, maybe they tell her, I don't know, the whole accent. I'm not knocking the accent, I'm not. But there's something about this. I have no idea. I have no idea if the police are like, we're done with this. I have no idea if there's anyone in a position of authority that says we got to get to. I don't know. Maybe they're tired of it. Maybe they're tired of dealing with it. Maybe they're tired of hearing about it. Maybe they are like, whatever. We just want her, where Karen Reed it out. But there's something odd about this. Now, again, I'm not gonna chase this person. I also think I'm seeing this other juror, the juror that I'm scheduled to speak to. It's a dangerous climate out there. It is. So, all right, it is. I don't know what to make of it. No, because I'll tell you what, Donald. The more she talks, right? The more she talks, the more we can. Hank is brilliant. All right. I want to thank our moderators. I thank everybody for tuning in. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll be on with the great Julie Grant on Court TV. And then we're planning on this business of giving up. There's nothing you can do. These people, listen, we have a right to at least know and explore that there's something. I don't understand why these people are so concerned if in fact we're just looking into it or we're talking about it. They're so worried about that. And they want, no one should look at anything. No one should talk about it. There's something odd that the other side, they're like, that's it. No talk anymore. Everyone just has to listen to her, Paula, Juror 11, whatever she says. There should be no other talking except for her. I find that strange. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on the Sunday night. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning on Court TV.